you are.
Okay.
I'll give you guys a notice when Chris tells us that we're live.
Okay, we are live.
Okay.
I'll call, my name's Larry Clarino. We'll call the Board of Public Works and Safety January 26th, 2022 meeting to order. First item, I guess, is a roll call. I'm here. Jim Ake?
Yes,
Hello? Jim's here.
present.
And the mayor will not be here, but we do have a quorum.
Yes.
Okay, the first item will be a change in the agenda. We are going to move action item number 6, I believe it is, the Epcon Westfield Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement to the next meeting because they have not come up with some exhibits that we really need to look at the item.
Larry, Public Works is aware of this, and this is okay to table, correct?
Yes,
Yes,
this
yes.
is fine. I had corresponded with Epcon just a few minutes ago, and they're not going to have them available today, and they are comfortable
Okay.
with us pushing this on to the next meeting.
So if you
Very
would,
good.
this is Manny, if you would entertain a motion to table that to the next meeting, that would be cleanest.
All right, can
That's fine.
we have a motion to table item number 6?
Yeah, Jim Ake, I make the motion on action item number 6 to table it until our next meeting, Epcon Westfield Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement.
Larry Clarino, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Jim?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Next item is approval of the minutes from our December 15th meeting. Any discussion on the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, we have
So moved.
Jim Ake has made the motion to approve the minutes. Larry Clarino, I second. All in favor, aye. Jim? All in favor, say aye. Hello, Jim?
Yeah, I'm here. I said aye.
Oh, okay, we didn't hear you. All right, that's carried. Okay, next item will be action item number 2, Brightview and City of Westfield high-profile landscape maintenance contract. Jeremy?
Yeah, actually, Chris McConnell is going to present this to the board.
Yeah, this is Chris McConnell, Parks and Recreation Superintendent. This contract is a contract between the City of Westfield and Brightview to continue the high-profile landscape maintenance as well as some of the janitorial services throughout the parks over the next 3 years. It is detailed out what the terms of the contract are within the contract.
So this is
Right.
in line with our contract we've held for a number of years with Brightview. It is a little different this year with the RFP process late last year. Brightview was the lowest bidder for the scope of services.
This contract encompasses 39 sites throughout the city. In years past, all of the sites were encompassed in one contract. We've divided them into 2. The next contract, obviously, is the next item on the agenda. This one encompasses all of our high-profile areas, so parks, city buildings, trails, and some of our more high-profile right-of-way areas like roundabouts and things along those lines that require much more intense landscape maintenance. It also encompasses...
So, Chris.
Yes, Jim.
Sorry. So you have high-profile sites and low-profile sites, and they refer to the visibility and the activities around those so they get more attention more frequently because the others don't need as much. Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. These sites require much more attention on a regular basis and also encompass bed maintenance as well, so they have plantings and flower beds and those types of things. This contract also includes janitorial services for park restrooms, park trash cans, as well as US 31 trash collection, which occurs 9 times a year, and then the thoroughfare trash collection, which occurs twice a year.
And as I look at this, this is a 3-year contract, but it could be canceled. the terms would allow for cancellation any time for underperformance or justified breach of contract. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, all right. And then the last question I have, and then I'll let you get back to your presentation, but we have had a history, for the record, we have had a history with Brightview, and we have had, I would like to hear how that has gone in the past, which I assume, since it looks like we're awarding the RFP to these folks, that it appears to me they've done an admirable job. But if you could address that a little bit for the record, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely, yes. This is the result of an RFP, and they were the lowest bid. We had two other bidders on this particular RFP. They were the lowest bid, but in regards to our relationship with them, they've done a very good job in the past, and we've established a very good rapport with them as far as getting them to do what we need to get done, as well as them being very receptive to issues and getting them corrected in a timely manner.
Good, good. And I would say it would be hard for somebody else coming in and not knowing the areas and what's required and learning this all over again. So I think it's a good contract. I think there are good reasons to have that besides just the low bid. So I'm very pleased with what I read and your presentation.
Okay.
As other areas come on, new roundabouts, that sort of thing, will they be taking over those also?
Yeah, those will, as in years past, those will be added to this contract as addendums. So every year we review what they're currently doing, and then we take a hard look at what we need to add, and those become an addendum to the contract, which is written in the contract to allow that
Which
to
then
occur.
would be approved, an individual, the addendums would have to be approved, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions?
No, I make a move. Oh, were there any language changes, or are we good on the contracts as written?
Yeah, good point, Mr. Ake. There is one, if you're going to make a motion to approve, I would make it under the qualification that the non-discrimination clause be added. Otherwise, it's going to make the contract invalid. There's some language in there already, but the state requires a more robust language that we've sent along that Brightview can incorporate.
And to your point,
Okay.
Manny, those changes have been made already in the contract that would be signed today.
Okay, great. I just didn't see it online. So that's good. Thank you.
So just to
All right,
clarify,
so
just to
Go
clarify
ahead.
that point, for the record, the document that's posted on the agenda today does not include the language, but the document that you are executing, and that was ultimately the legal document, does have the language that Manny's referring to.
Perfect. Thank you.
okay. And Manny, you're good with that from the legal
Yes, sir.
aspect?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Then I would make a motion to approve the Brightview contract action item number 2, Brightview and City of Westfield high-profile landscape maintenance contract,
I'll second that
as
motion.
stated.
Uh,
All right?
Right, I'll second that motion. Larry Clarino, aye. Jim
Make
can,
aye.
okay, there are no votes, so that's been approved. Okay, going on to item number 3, H&N Outdoor Services, low-profile landscape maintenance contract.
Again, this is Chris McConnell, Parks and Recreation Superintendent, and I'll be presenting on this. This is the second of the RFPs. Again, in years past, these had been combined as one. We'd separate them out to make it a little more manageable for both companies that are ultimately going to be awarded. H&N was the low bid on the low profile. This is made up by 30 sites throughout the city, and all of these are right-of-way sites. Really, all these sites, all they entail is mowing. So it's just a situation where They go out, they mow it usually roughly every 10 days, and that's the only maintenance that occurs through this contract. I do believe one other portion is, there is a turf application portion of this to keep the weeds down and the grass growing as it should. It was awarded through an RFP process, and again, H&N Outdoor Service was the lowest bidder.
Have we ever worked with this company before?
Not on anything this
Good
big.
question, Larry.
Not on anything this big. This would be the first time they've been awarded a contract like this with us. We've worked with them on smaller projects, though.
And you're very comfortable with them?
I am comfortable with them, and just like the Brightview contract, the contract is written in such a ways that we are able to negate the contract based on lack of performance.
Okay, does this contract contain the language that's required?
So it's a similar situation as the other. The contract that you see posted on the agenda does not have it. You'll notice that the documents are largely the same, but the contract that you're executing will have the appropriate language.
Okay, Manny, are you good with that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair.
I have a question. The contract says costs are based on estimates or the contract's based on actual costs from November 21. Now, I don't know how solid that is, and they could make an adjustment plus or minus. Does that bring any concern to you, Chris, or Jeremy?
It doesn't bring any concern to me. I know the company well enough that I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe these prices will hold firm throughout the contract. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, just to follow up a little bit, so the contracted amount, you'll see it there on the screen. Well, Jim will not, but those are the
115, right?
Yeah, 115,047.60.
047.
Yep,
Yeah.
and this contractor locked that in, so there's no escalation on it for 22, 23, and 24. The only way that
Okay.
number would increase is if we add to the scope of services.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarification.
Sure.
And with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the contract, action item number 3, H&N Outdoor Services LLC, between them and the city of Westfield.
And I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's been carried.
I'm sorry.
Congratulations, by the way, on negotiating that one, because, excuse me, my landscaper had a 30% bump this year, so good job. You know, I'm gonna have you guys negotiate ours, you know. All right, action
Mr.
number,
Marino, so sorry, you can back up one step. Could we do a roll call vote instead?
Oh,
like we
I'm
did with the
sorry.
Bright?
okay.
Oh, that's okay. It's just, we're still under that kind of odd executive order function where we have to do roll call votes. Thank you.
Okay. Larry Clarino, I vote aye. Jim Ake?
Aye.
Okay. That cover us,
Yes,
Manny?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep, yes, sir. Thank you.
Action number 4, 3D Company in City of Westfield Park Culvert Goods and Services Contract.
Yes, this is John Nail, City Engineer, City of Westfield. We have a construction project on Westfield Park Boulevard. It is Westfield Park Road, excuse me. That is a bridge over the Grassy Branch / Anna Kendall Drain, just north of the Monon Trail, as shown on the screen. It is currently a twin pipe deteriorated material situation. We have designed a box culvert replacement project here. This is the construction contract. We publicly bid this project, and 3D Companies was the low bidder. We had 5 bidders on the project, and so they were the low bidder at $1,228,732. This project also includes not just the box culvert replacement, but some resurfacing of Westfield Park Road as well, essentially full depth resurfacing for some failing portions of that roadway. This project will start, if awarded, will start April 4th, 45-day closure for the box culvert installation, and then some additional time in that contract to do the resurfacing project with a final completion date of August 2nd of 2022. With that information, entertain any questions, but I would ask that you guys approve this construction contract to 3D Companies.
I'm a little bit confused because I thought part of this was a change order.
So this is the original contract amount of $1,228,000. There are going to be, and this will come through at the next Board of Public Works meeting, there will be some escalation on this project due to some delays. We took a look at this project pretty closely, and the escalation that the contractor was asking for, we feel very confident is cheaper than rebidding the project altogether, especially based on some of the bids we've seen from NDOT over the last month. We've seen some much higher prices, so we feel confident that the escalation is valid and also is cheaper than trying to rebid the project in its entirety.
Okay, all right. So this is all inclusive then, right?
This
As
1.2,
far as we know today.
correct.
The 1.2 million plus the 133 change order or whatever it is.
This is
133,
this is the
149.
original contract. The change order will come through next month.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll see that again.
Correct.
All right, very good.
And now again, is this a company that we've worked with?
We have.
Northwest?
They've actually they subcontract for some larger contractors, generally speaking, on the projects we've worked with them on. They did work on the town road project between 156th and 166th out west. They're also doing some dirt work for the 191st and Chad Hiddle project. I have no concerns about this company. They do good work.
Okay. Well, I don't have any questions. Jim, does that cover everything on your part?
Yes, it does, it does. Appreciate the explanation.
Okay, and action item number 4, 3D Company in Westfield and the Westfield Park Westfield Park culvert. I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second, Jim Ake.
Okay, Larry Clarino, I vote yes.
Jim Ake, yes.
Okay, that's been approved. Okay, action item number 5, the 2022 Personnel Policy and Procedure and Benefit Manual. Do we have a presentation?
Yes, I'll take it, and then Manny's here to assist as well. So before you for consideration is the City of Westfield Policy and Procedure Manual. The red line changes are primarily driven by just a holistic update from the advice of our legal counsel. We had some outdated language in there, so with joint effort between Todd Bertrand and our HR department and the city's legal team have gone through it very thoroughly to make the appropriate modifications to the language. It is centered around some COVID changes, but also the primary change that you see throughout is in past years, the city council has considered this policy procedure manual. According to our legal team, it is more appropriate for the Board of Public Works, as this is an administrative function that controls how the city staff operates. So that you will see throughout the document, the Board of Public Works and Safety has been inserted to replace the city council, and then subsequently the chief of staff is replacing the administrative officer, which is just the chief of staff, as we know, is the mayor's appointee as the head of the staff. So with that, I will entertain any questions, and Manny is also available to help if you have specifics.
Okay, currently the chief of staff is Todd, correct?
Yes, as of now, Todd Bertrand is chief of staff.
And this will apply to really every city employee, correct?
That is
All
correct.
departments, and how does this apply to the elected officials?
This does not particularly apply to the elected officials, as I understand it. This is more specific to appointed staff as well as regular civilian and public safety staff.
Okay, so it really doesn't apply to, even the, the harassment areas and all that, would that apply to,
I will defer to Manny on that question.
Yeah, so there are some, like these harassment policies where we'll speak to certain elected officials and other staffs. Of course, police and fire have their own discipline system that we have to be aware of. So this is largely and predominantly a civil employee focused handbook. And so for those issues that are not specifically addressed by statute, in case of an elected official, they have specific statutory requirements of what you can and cannot do. Same with fire, same with police. So it's not going to speak really in any depth about those, although generally speaking, those types of policies would be applicable to some extent, to the extent they don't interfere or counteract the statutory authority. But because this is a policy and procedure manual for all civil employees, predominantly it is within the administration's purview. That's why you'll see chief of staff reference. There's this, as Jeremy said.
okay, for the record, I actually read this whole thing, so.
I believe it.
It makes, you get to sleep easy. So if I understand this correctly, the police and fire department, this is kind of like an umbrella over your manuals, your individual manuals, okay?
Yeah, that's generally, so to the extent not inconsistent, Mr. Clarino, the policies would apply. Of course, if you're going to go through to discipline a policeman or a fire or an officer within the fire department or any rank and file official within either of those, there's different statutory overlap that governs those issues. But every civil employee is going to, by and large, have this apply to them.
Right, understood. And also for the record, this has nothing to do with salaries or anything like that. This is just the employee manual on what we expect from employees as a city and what the employees expect from the city as an employer. So we're not talking budgets or salaries or anything like that. I know there has been some discussion about that.
Yeah, good question. That's right. With statutorily, the city council is going to be responsible every single year to approve or disapprove salaries. The council has already approved fees associated with other city functions. That used to be all kind of lumped in together. As you may know, or some others may know, that was already passed. We separated that out because it didn't make sense to put it together. Council still approved that. Council still has budgetary oversight. So to the extent there's anything incidentally in here that may affect the purse strings, 2 points. One, the council controls the budget. So that's always going to be a backstop. Council controls the salaries within that budget. Again, that's a backstop. And then, the council can control the spend to the extent not inconsistent with the administration. So yes, this is purely policies and procedures that are affecting civilian employees within the administration, and it's properly before you today. I'll point out, just kind of for the record, there's even a provision in state law that allows the mayor to implement his own policies and procedures that affect employees without any sort of approval. And of course, we're not doing that. I actually don't think that's a very good statute. It's kind of like an executive order statute within state law. And so we're not doing that. I don't think that's a good idea. So it's here in front of the public, and as it should be.
And now, since I'm a newbie here, quick question. We do have an HR department, do we not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who is the head of our HR department?
Brady Lukes is the HR director.
Okay. Jim, do you have any comments or questions?
No. I read through it, and I think the updates are timely. I appreciate Manny's input on the legal languages to clean it up, and I appreciate the work by the department heads and their input, and HR as well as chief of staff. So I think it's appropriate to move forward, and I would conclude my remarks with a motion to approve the 2022 Personnel Policy, Procedures, and Benefits Manual, and knowing that it's an administrative function, and that's the proper way to handle this going forward. It cleans up some things that we needed to clean up, and it's a good update.
And I totally agree with that, and again, our thanks, to department heads. Having written a few of these in past careers, I know what it's like, and, thank you guys for all the work that you've done. I will second the motion. This is Larry Clarino. I would vote yes on this, to approve the manual as stated.
And Jim Ake, I vote yes on the action item number 5, Personnel Policy, Procedures, and Benefits Manual.
Okay, that,
Approved.
it's so approved, right?
Yep.
Okay, next item will be action item number 7, Christopher B. Burke Engineering LLC, utility rate study contract.
And Wes Rue, the Stormwater Utility Coordinator, is going to present this for you.
Wes Rude, Stormwater Coordinator for the City of Westfield. The contract you have before you is the Stormwater Utility Master Plan and B&P inventory update with a primary focus on the stormwater utility. A small history there. The current ordinance required a revision or looking at that ordinance after year 5. We're in year 8. That just probably goes without saying with everything else in our current climate. The secondary task is to look at the stormwater master plan, obviously with the rapid growth that the city's experiencing. We need to take another look at that. And then lastly, a small component would include just filling in some of our storm sewer inventory that we have across the city as it relates to our GIS database. Deliverables, again, with a primary focus on the utility. I think we're shooting for a June timeframe on that. As well, Christopher Burke usually handles a lot of our stormwater contracts. They are the ones that originally helped us create the first utility and ordinance rate and rate study, as well as the stormwater master plan. So we are very familiar with this company. And lastly, I know there was a little bit of back and forth on whether or not we could see the line item for 31, but it does include the non-discriminatory terms and conditions.
So, and Larry, knowing that you are newer to the board, just to give you a little more information. So we'll utilize the documentation in this process to evaluate our existing stormwater utility rates. We have not adjusted our rates. They graduated when we first implemented this 8 years ago, but we have not adjusted rates beyond that. So per the ordinance, it's an evaluation every 5 years. It's been 8, so we feel like it's time for us to look at our capital needs, look at our current staffing and other requirements, and evaluate whether or not we are due for a rate increase for our stormwater utility, or if the fees that we are currently charging are adequate. So that will come later on down the road as a product of this contract.
So this is both an engineering fee, or engineering study, and a cost
Correct.
versus, cost fee.
Yeah, so the $105,000 that we're requesting for this contract will update our master plan. So it utilizes, or looks at all of our stormwater infrastructure as well as projects our growth so that we can try to stay ahead of the capital needs in order to accommodate future development. And then also, as a component of that, we utilize those capital needs to support capital and maintenance needs to support whatever the fee might be or whatever we propose for the fee. So yes,
Is there a stormwater impact fee and new development?
we do not have a stormwater impact fee. New development, obviously is required to install and maintain, or at least install and control the release of their stormwater coming off of their site per our construction standards and the county requirements, as well as state requirements. So all that infrastructure that goes in is new. What we have to look at is, are we accommodating downstream the impacts necessary? And I'm not saying just off-site, but in our existing detention basins, we have some regional detention basins, and then as well as repair of our aging infrastructure that is on our current roads. So,
Should there be an impact fee
Well-
on this?
Well,
Go ahead, Jim.
go ahead, Jim.
no, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're billed on your property tax bill. There's a wastewater or stormwater fee that's assessed to each household. Is that not correct?
So the property tax fee that you see is a county ditch assessment. So that is a fee that goes to the
Okay,
county
that's
surveyor's
right.
office.
That's right.
This on the quarterly bill.
This is our quarterly bill that comes with your trash bill. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I meant.
And
Yeah.
so Jim, then
Sorry.
what you're referring to is what's known as an ERU or an estimated
That's right.
residential unit. So that's just what you and I would pay as just property owners.
Right.
The commercial side of it is different. It's a little larger in terms of that assessment. But then again, they also have much more impervious surface on that site than you or I would at our individual
Yeah, that's right,
residency.
that's right. So there is a fee collected from new homeowners or new houses through that quarterly, their bill if they have trash service, correct?
Correct. That is what our original rate study is based off of, is that one ERU. This will
Yeah.
look at that ERU, and that's the whole idea, is to see if we need to adjust that rate or if we're where we need to be.
Right.
It all hinges on the one ERU. The current rate that, like I said, you or I would pay on our quarterly bills.
It's like $50 a month or
So
something,
the
right?
A year.
Yeah,
It's
the
about
year-
$50 a year.
The
Oh,
existing
okay.
ERU, which is equivalent residential unit, is $4.16
Yeah.
a month.
Okay, okay.
Your quarterly bill is
Yeah.
roughly 50 because of the trash service included.
Gotcha.
So an equivalent residential unit is the average of all the sizes of impervious surface on our properties. Roughly 3,500 square feet, I believe, is what came from the last study. And then when you have a property like a Meyer or a commercial property, we calculate the impervious surface. Obviously, it's going to be much more than 3,500 square feet. So you take that total gross, let's call it 100,000 square feet, you divide it by 3,500, and they pay 416 times the ERU, so times the equivalent units. And so the stormwater, the folks that are having more of an impact on the stormwater system are paying a much more significant bill, but the residential units are flat across the board. So every residential unit pays
Yeah.
the same.
Gotcha.
Now, the original
I
utility
just wanted to
was
get that entered into the record.
Thank you.
So, there's an understanding of how that works a little bit.
The original
Go ahead, Mike.
utility, like Jeremy said, did have an incremental growth, but that was for the commercial side, not the individual residential. That there was an incremental growth in what they would actually pay after 3 years. It was the full
So
ERU.
what he's saying is we graduated the ERU for commercial when we established the utility 8 years ago. This was as a part of the water and wastewater utility sale. We generally, we build stormwater based on water meter size. We no longer had water meters or control or any kind of accounting of when new meters came on. That's when we moved to this more traditional ERU. Because it did have an impact on commercial, we didn't want to have such a huge impact on the commercial ratepayer, so we graduated from 216 to 316 the following year to 416 on the third year, and then it is locked in at that 416 ERU. So anyone new coming in pays the full freight, but our existing customers at the time got a graduated payment.
Gotcha. And in the case of the commercial stuff, that would include parking lots?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Anything that is
Where the water doesn't run through.
impervious.
Impervious
So the
surface,
building
yeah.
itself, a parking lot, a stone lot, which is largely not allowed, anything like that where water does not permeate is considered impervious surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no other questions. Jim?
Go ahead. No, I just want to say, this study is overdue, and the utility rate study also gives us an idea of what's going on, and we can plan for the future when we get this back. I think it's a great idea, and I'm in support of this moving forward. We don't know what we don't know, so it'll give us the inventory and give us a status of where we are and where we need to go, and just it comes down to good planning for the future.
Okay. Manny, is there anything in the document that concerns you?
No, I wasn't able to open it before today, so as long as, I think somebody mentioned the requisite language was included, it looks fine.
Yep, point 31.
So
Perfect.
you're
General terms and
correct,
conditions.
Manny. The new language, the E-Verify and non-discriminatory language is included in the contract.
Got it. Yep, otherwise it looks fine.
Okay, I'll make a
Very-
motion to approve
I'll-
the Christopher B. Burke Engineering LLC utility rate study contract.
I will second it, Jim Ake.
Larry Clarino, I vote yes.
Jim Ake votes yes.
Okay. Action item 8, WSP in City of Westfield. WSP Professional Services is an on-call contract in task order number 1.
Yeah, John Nail again, City Engineer, City of Westfield. This is a contract with WSP, it's a consulting firm for on-call contract services. WSP has an on-call contract already in place with the City of Westfield for right-of-way acquisition services. We use them frequently for our right-of-way needs. This is a on-call with similar provisions. It is for, and the right-of-way acquisition contract we have is only for right-of-way acquisition. This contract would also be for a broad scope of roadway design and review services that may come up in the future as needed. We wanted to expand that on-call beyond right-of-way acquisition because we do feel very confident in WSP's abilities and foresee them getting some additional miscellaneous items down the road from the City of Westfield. The task order 1 that's included in this master agreement is for plan review services for $3,931, specifically related to the review of Westfield Boulevard through the Lantern Commons project, which is at the northwest corner of 161st and Union. WSP, as you may recall, designed the first phase of Westfield Boulevard from 169th to Park Street. And so they were well suited to review the design and plans that the developer was proposing for this other segment of Westfield Boulevard further south. So I would ask that you approve this on-call contract, and then any future task orders would come through you for their services under this master agreement.
Okay, I did a little research on WSP. They're a big outfit. They're,
They're a national,
worldwide.
yeah, global firm, yeah.
And we have obviously worked with them on a regular basis before, so.
Yeah, and just a quick background, they were Parsons Brinkerhoff before that, WSP acquired them. They have a pretty robust Indianapolis office with local folks that we know well. As a matter of fact, our client liaison is Jeff Hill, who is the former city engineer for the city of Fishers. He is the person that I directly communicate with WSP. We have a lot of confidence in their abilities.
Okay, I have no questions. Jim, do you?
No, I would entertain a motion to approve action item number 8, WSP and City of Westfield Professional Services On-Call Contract.
Larry Clarino, I second the motion and vote yes.
Jim Ake, I vote yes.
Okay. And that's approved. Next item is Duke Energy encroachment application.
Yes, this is Adam Essex, Utility Coordinator, City of Westfield. And Larry, to give you another just refresher on these, Public Works Department oversees our, any work within our city road right-of-ways. Well, I think last year we did around somewhere between 12 and 1,300 right-of-way permits for various utility contractors, construction projects, et cetera. Maybe a dozen of these right-of-way permits that come in each year are for utility work that involves pole replacement, utility pole replacement. So reflective of our underground bury resolution that was established in 2017, we do our best to eliminate as many poles in the right-of-way as possible, just in light of our future growth and keeping as much stuff underground as possible. So this permit is a 18150 Mule Barn Road. This is the IMI concrete plant property where IMI is developing this parcel just north of the recently developed Shelby concrete plant. We'll have a couple plants out there. And Duke has proposed 375 feet of primary underground power with the elimination of one pole along the frontage there of the IMI property. They do have to add a short span pole at the end just to the north, but so it's kind of a one-for-one. We don't really lose any of the total poles, but we gain 375 feet of open space that was not there before. And that would all be to the back of the right-of-way that's being dedicated by IMI.
Okay, so this would meet all the criteria that Andy Cook would want in a project, right? In an encroachment permit. We got the setbacks we require, and it's going to be we're going to be okay.
That is correct.
All right.
I have no questions. That sounds terrific. I mean, having, as a HOA officer, having dealt with Duke, God bless you.
Yeah, we do our best. We've made a little headway and have gotten Duke to kind of come around to trying to honor our Berry District resolution as much as they can.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve. Do we have a second?
Oh, yeah, I second action item number 9. Jimmy.
Okay, Larry Clarino, I vote yes.
And Jimmy votes yes.
Okay. We have a consent agenda next.
I move we approve the consent agenda as stated.
I think Chief Rush would like to talk about the hiring of the officers, introduce them to you prior to the approval of the consent agenda.
All right, very good.
Okay with me.
Okay, just for the record, though, I would like to give their names, just so we have it on record.
Yeah, that's fine.
Daniel Trump, Aaron Byerly, Andrew Dawson, and Ingrid Ortega would be the 4. 3 of which we're going to hire on February 14th, and then Ingrid would be a little bit later, probably March.
You said Daniel Trump?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it.
That brings us up to how many officers and where are you in the scheme of things with staff?
Yeah, so I was going to bring it up in my report, but...
Well, that's
So-
okay. We can do that later.
Okay.
I think we can go ahead and vote on the consent agenda first. I would make a motion that we approve the consent agenda. Larry Clarino?
Jimmy will second.
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, the consent agenda is approved. Last item on our agenda today is, I don't think we have a fire department report, right?
I will report
Is
that
there
it
anybody
is,
from fire?
it is Chief Gaylor's birthday today, so we would like to wish him a happy birthday.
Mine was yesterday,
good.
so.
All over again. Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
It's also
Thank you.
Paul Newman's birthday, by the way, so.
For the record, Rob Gaylor, Westfield Fire Department. Fire Department report, I just want to catch everybody up to speed on a few topics that have taken place since the beginning of the year. Fire Department entered into a hiring process in late December of last year, had some inquiries, about 203 people applied. We did a written exam the second week of January. It was a virtual or an online exam, which was our first. Had some good positive feedback. We had 138 individuals take the exam, and we are scheduling our interviews for the positions that was approved in the 22 budget of 6, with one person retiring late last year that left a vacancy, so a total of 7. So January 4th, we started with 4 laterals from other agencies, and then this list is to establish a new or a recruit list that we will pick 3 individuals from later on in the year. And just in full disclosure, I think Manny hit the point with the city policy manual and some of the legalities of that. And one of the reasons the fire department doesn't necessarily approach the Board of Public Works on our intent to hire individuals is we fall under merit law, which is just a little different right now than what the police department does. So that's my report from the fire department. Thank you.
So we'll be ready to staff the new building when it's up.
No, these individuals are not staff for the new building. These are staff to help us get to where we need to be currently today.
Oh, okay.
Any updates on the new building, Chief?
Yes, we had our Station 81 relocate project meeting yesterday, where we're meeting with Hagerman and RQAW, our build team. And we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We've approved, or they sent us some options about color palette and hard surface for textures on the inside of the structure. So we are moving forward and making progress on that. I believe the bonds are actually out right now
Yeah,
for sale.
You're right, and I believe it's the 8th, February 8th, if I'm not mistaken, will be the closing on the actual bond funding that will
Correct.
be coming in. So that's moved along really nicely.
Correct. So yes, project is still a large project. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we are moving forward and getting closer to getting some deliverables out on site and starting to make some improvements.
Very good. Thank you.
Very great job. Congratulations to your whole team and the fire department. We appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Mr. Ake.
Okay, the next item is our Chief Rush from the police department with the December report, I believe.
Yeah, the report was submitted for you to read on your own. I won't really go into that, but I would like to give you a little bit of update. These 4 that you gave approval for, are 4 of 6 that we'll be hiring this year. We had a really good hiring process, and we created a pretty good eligibility list from that. And these 4, first of all, we'd like to thank the council and obviously the mayor for creating the environment for us under, what you could really consider nationally kind of a hard time to recruit police. We're pretty much one of those departments now people want to be at. So we couldn't do that without the support that we were given every day, not only from our community, but the council and the mayor. But we're really, with our recruit team and all of our efforts, we really put together a really nice list of potential candidates. These 4 that we we just gave conditionals to, two of which are from Bloomington PD. One is actually from IMPD, and that's a pretty neat story. We mentioned Daniel Trump. Daniel was a person that had applied to our agency 2 or 3 years ago, did not get accepted at that point, but went on to become an IMPD officer, but never really lost the focus of where he wanted to be. So he applied again this year and actually was the top of our list. So we'll be looking forward to having Daniel on the department. So things are going really, really well. Like I said, we need 2 more off of that list. And got a couple other exciting things going on. We just posted for promotion to both sergeant and lieutenant to create eligibility lists for that for this year. We currently have no openings, but there's a potential that we will before the end of the year. The other thing we posted was detective spot, or detective process. So we're currently taking applications for officers that are interested to become a detective. So it's a pretty exciting time right now. A lot of neat things happening, and just looking forward to a good year.
Is that unusual that we're getting applications from guys that are, guys and gals that are already policemen at other departments? Yeah.
It's a strange environment right now, and you're talking about the recruiting of
Well,
candidates for officers.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the uniqueness of the times that we're living in right now is that there's a lot of people that are officers in big cities and that aren't seeing the support that we're fortunate of having here, and they're looking for this type of place to work. And we're seeing people from Chicago, from Indianapolis, from Bloomington, a lot of cities throughout the nation that just don't have what we have here. So
that says a lot about, you and the administration and the department. You guys have done a great job. We've worked together pretty closely over the years, and, really, congratulations, man. That's just super.
thank you. We couldn't do it without the support of, the community and the schools and, the direction this city's going. So thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, is there anything else? I don't.
Any Public Works? Anything from Public Works?
Sure,
Jeremy?
I can give a little update. We also have various positions open. I don't know if it's because our trucks aren't as cool as the firefighters, but we get far less applicants than they do. So if you know anyone that would like to be in our street department or anyone qualified for a spot in our engineering team, we would love to have any recommendations that you can send our way. We are in the middle of winter weather. Our street department has managed a couple of events over the last week, did extremely well. While there was not a ton of accumulation, the cold temperatures and the precipitation obviously have to be managed, and the street guys did a great job with that. Largely, we're ramping up for construction season, which is always pleasant and is exciting as we move toward that. We got a few projects to finish up from last year that weather delayed a little. Specifically 169th and Spring Mill. It will re-engage in that and get the smooth surface, finished surface down in the spring. Rain in October kind of pushed that outside of our window for paving. And I believe since the last time we met, Grand Junction Plaza's opened, and we still have a few things to finish up out there, but it is open to the public. It's been a pretty big success. We've had lots of great compliments on the facility, and we hope that everyone can get out there. I know it's a little chilly today, but hopefully everybody's enjoying that. And other than that, I can answer any questions you may have.
What's the status of 161st and Union on the Roundabout?
Yes, and John, would you like to give us an update?
My wife is inquiring.
Yeah, many people are, understandably so. That project will start April 1st. Actually, April 4th, I think, is the first Monday. But April 1st is the very first workday that NDOT recognizes of the construction season. So that project will start up at that time. It is scheduled for 90 days total. And so we're looking at, obviously weather pending. We always want to put a caveat there that rainy spring means longer construction timelines, but, July, we're looking at having that open to traffic.
Okay.
That'll be welcome, most welcome.
Yep.
So I appreciate all the department heads, everybody on the call. You do a great job. Appreciate the police. They don't have an easy job out there, and it's good to see all the good things that are happening around our city. So thank everybody that was on this call. And with that, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I will second. All in favor, say yes, yes.
Yes, Jim.
We are adjourned.
Thank you all. Sorry I was late.